In the magic phase, I did not get off Doom and Darkness, but I did pull off a nice Soul Blight Hex. I did the Soul Blight first, and he saved his Dispel dice for my Doom and Darkness, which I didn't even get off.
My thought was that he was going to Doom and Darkness my Abomination, and then lower his leadership by effectively 5. So a stubborn 3 is really not where I want him to be at.
No.
So I figured my Plague Monks were eventually going to lose now that my character was dead, and I'd hoped to be able to time up longer, but I thought it was more important to protect my Abomination. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, he just failed the second roll, so it was unnecessary.
Yeah, the Soul Blight, -1 toughness, -1 strength on the Frenzied Plague Monks was pretty huge, because it makes you go from wound on 4s to wound on 5s, which came into effect immediately in that combat.
It ended up being very close. If the Hex hadn't gone off, I think it would have been about a draw. We didn't really add up exactly, but he ended up winning, and then with the -2 leadership banner, I was out.
Yeah, I chose not to overrun because I wanted to set up a charge on your Clan Rat bunker that had your BSB in it. And your slaves blew up because of combat res to the Fiend and the Furies, and I was really thinking that it was going to go a little bit differently than it did.
Yeah, my slaves managed to actually they killed a bloodletter, and they did 2 wounds to the Fiend of Slanesh and killed it, because they had done 1 at some point or another earlier in the fight. So that was a big break for me. I've had that happen a couple times.
Yeah, having that Fiend die was so huge, because it made it so that during your turn, your Rat Swarm was free to move and redirect and just be a nuance. Just terrible.
Bought me another turn.
Yeah. I did reform a little bit. I just put my BSB out there on the reform a little bit out further than the extents of the unit where it was before, and that was just to make it so I was within 12 inches of his Plague Monks, so that when they rallied, they were going to do so on -2 leadership, because I wanted to make sure that they made their way off the board. And during the combat with the Abomination, I had reformed into Horde formation, and I had a lot going at him. And I think I did 1 wound at you.
Well, I think this was the end of the phase. We actually fought before. Matt rolled pretty awesome for his ward saves, but he did fail one on his Herald, so his Herald only has 1 left. And then I lost, but I was on a rerollable 6 with the BSB nearby. So I stay and we keep going, and he reformed into a Horde.
Yeah, and that Doom and Darkness would have been enough to make you run away this turn,
without a doubt.
So I pass turn over. Turn 3 for you.
I charge here. Because they're right in my face. I don't really have that much about it. I know Matt was trying to get me to overrun, but I think sometimes we still try to use 7th edition tactics.
Yeah.
So I knew I could just overrun and then point directly at his Great Unclean One after I wiped him out.
Pretty easy to fall back into the old 7th edition stuff.
Other than that, I kind of shuffled some stuff around and then went straight over to Magic. I only tried to cast 1 spell because I didn't get very many dice. Our Magic rolls were kind of weak for the first half of this game. But he decided to throw a scroll at it because I got something like a 19 or 20.
Yeah, and again, that 1/3 chance of getting rid of my Great Unclean One, that's too many points to give away. 625 points I'd have to give away all at once.
My Catapult scored a direct hit this time, and I actually killed 6 Bloodletters, which made me significantly less afraid of the unit.
Yeah, I made no ward saves. As you can see here, it's pretty terrible.
The Furies were killed by the Fellblade and died.
Yeah,
and then,
that was kind of obvious. Oh, actually, one of them survived and rolled a 3 on his break test.
Oh, that's true. You almost rolled double 1s, and then I would have been stuck there. So.
Double 1s would have been beautiful. Unfortunately, it was not to be, and you had to reform and made it so that my Nurglings couldn't charge you, and my Great Unclean One would have to hit you in the front if he wanted to hit you at all.
Yep. This combat, I killed 1 because you made all of your ward saves except for 1 of my stomp attacks. You also managed to put, I think there's 2, you put 3 wounds on him now, 2 in this round. Your Herald did 2 wounds to me, amazingly.
Mm-hmm.
The unit, I don't think, ever did a single wound.
Late in game they did, but not at this point they didn't touch him.
Yeah. I had moved some slaves up during my turn earlier to be on the flank, because because unfortunately they were in the front at the start, so I just moved them up to get ready.
Well, on my turn, I declared a long charge of the Furies on the Plague Hog Catapult. I think I needed to roll 7 or 8, which actually isn't long on 3 dice. And obviously he held because he has to, and I was able to pull that one off. For other charges, I don't think there was anything at all. My other guys just moved into charge positions to try to threaten him.
No, the rat swarm base that was flanked by the blood letters with the herald.
Yeah, you're right. The obligatory charge. I did throw that one in, which, again, this is 2 games in a row where redirection has played a major part. In the magic phase, I threw all of my dice at Doom and Darkness on the Hell Pit Abomination because I just really wanted to see that thing off the table, and I got it off irresistibly, and unfortunately getting that off killed my level 2.
Yeah, Matt got the number 9 result where every friendly wizard on his side takes a what's the strength 10 or I think it was strength 6.
Strength 6 maybe.
Strength 6 hit, and then you lose like the obligatory dice that no one ever has left.
Yeah,
cool.
it didn't hurt anybody but my level 2, but man, did it hurt him. He only had 1 wound left, so he was gone, which was a bummer. He was going to be missed.
But my Abomination is now stubborn 3, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if I lost this fight, it was going to be big.
Yeah, losing the fight, it's still looking pretty good for me, although I didn't feel like I was going to break you this turn. During the close combat phase, my Furies broke the Plague Claw Catapult, knocked it over, and decided not to kill the crew.
Yeah, but
just
chain
reformed.
broke, so,
yeah. The crew ran away. They were so sad.
Now, this one was actually pretty epic. I rolled amazing for the Abomination. Unfortunately for me, Matt rolled pretty awesome for his ward saves. And as a result, I lost. I think I lost by 1. And then, which ended up me testing on a 3 rerollable, which I failed, of course.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. -5 to your leadership. That's pretty huge, to say the least. Which you made your panic text on your slaves, though, so I guess you got to save those 40 points.
Yeah, only to be thrown away at some other point.
Yeah, so I passed the turn. That was a pretty good one for me.
So my slaves were ready, so they flank charged in to the... Really, I'm just trying to hold him up here and at least stop him from shooting his magic missiles. Maybe kill a couple, bring him down at wizard level. You know, whatever I can. I'm kind of behind at this point, so I need to try and plug up units so I can get after that general. Again, in my magic phase, I went for Crack's Call, which he stopped. And then I also went for Warp Lightning, which he let go. I did 7 hits on the Grid Unclean when I did 1 wound, and he made his ward save, so no harm done. In the combat phase, I actually I won this one, but we both still had 3 ranks, so or actually no, I had lost 1 guy in the corner in the back that you can't see in the slave horror fight, and because he died, I only had 2 ranks, and Matt had 3, so he was steadfast, and that meant that I wasn't going to do anything to him, really. Yeah,
and it also made it so that I could reform not for free, but I was reforming on an 8, so I chose to. I turned so I was facing him, and I got a lot more attacks that way because of the horde rules. So he passed the turn on to my turn 5, and I had everything on my board charged, basically. I had my Furies and my Great Unclean One do a combo charge on his big unit of clan rats that was kind of a bunker for his BSB and his caster, and my unit of horrors my unit of bloodletters charged against one of his units of slaves, just trying to get the chaff away and get myself a little bit closer to that big clan rat fight. I wanted to, right here, charge my BSB into the Abomination, but we kind of ruled that to charge a character out of a unit, you'd first have to move out of the unit, then pivot, then move straight.
Well, it's also the matter that in order to make the angle, the pivot would leave his corner on top of a bloodletter, which, I don't know. Rules-wise, I don't know if it's correct, but it didn't seem to me like it should be possible. So,
yeah, in 7th he couldn't do it, so I imagine 8. It's probably the same.
But the main effect was still there, where you got close enough so my A-bomb would be rallying on -2 leadership,
right,
which was the big thing that you really wanted to do.
And out of BSB range. My Nurglings charged into the flank of his big Bone Cruncher's unit because that was just too juicy to pass up. I'd have a lot of poison coming against him, and eventually you're going to fail those steadfasts. In the magic phase, I unfortunately wasn't able to pull anything off substantial. I did get in all my charges, thank God, and in the combat phase, this was just a great phase for me. My horrors broke the unit of slaves that they were up against by just doing massive amount of wounds and blowing them up. My bloodletters did the exact same thing, again just blowing up a unit completely. And my Great Unclean One and Furies won their combat, but you made your steadfast.
Yep, yeah, the Great Unclean One had to fend off my champion, and he did so easily.
Yeah, declaring a challenge was pretty awesome here because it prevented me from doing my stomp attacks. Made it so I just got my 4 basic attacks and got my full wounds in there, but then I lost the extra d6 on top of that, which...
Yeah, I think you barely won this one, but it was, I mean, the rear certainly helped, so...
Oh yeah, rear and charge were the big things, and I think I had a 3 overkill. In the combat with my Nurglings against his clan rats, I didn't do as well as I'd hoped. I only put on a couple wounds, and I just barely won this one.
Yeah, I made a mistake here. I had thought that Skitterleap worked the reverse of how it worked. So I didn't make way with my Warlord because I thought I'm gonna want to Skitterleap him out next turn and put him into the other fight. Because I was thinking I can't pull him out, but I can put him in. When really you can pull him out of combat with the spell, but you can't end up within an inch of an enemy unit. So figured I kind of mixed up. So I chose. If you're wondering why I didn't make way, it's because I don't read my own spells. So.
Yeah, at the time I wasn't sure if you were just afraid of the poison or what. So that was it. I passed my turn 5 over to you because the combat resolution, nothing really happened.
Yep. So I don't really have that much left that's not engaged. I decided to be adventurous with my gutter runners and find out what was in the river. It turned out to be a what was it called?
A raging torrent.
Yeah, so it was dangerous terrain. So I made my dangerous terrain check and got the heck out of the river. So the big thing of note was that my abomination failed to rally and scurried off the board. And I managed to my Doomflayer failed his check, but was still able to just get in the way so that Herald couldn't quite make it past, which saved my clan rats for another turn. And that's generally what I use a lot of my stuff for. Not having much to do and being behind, I went for the dreaded 13th spell, trying to get rid of some of the horrors, mainly because the bloodletters were there are only like 7 left, so I kind of feel like a waste to bomb that many dice and just try and kill 6 guys or 7 guys, because I couldn't get the Herald because he's mounted. So I went for the horrors and trying to at least maybe knock them down to like a level 2 so they weren't as terrifying to me with their big magic missiles. But
yeah, and you got it off. Irresistible. It's pretty nasty.
Yep. Thankfully for me, I got the probably the best result from the miscast, where it hits everybody in base with my wizard with strength 10, which was just clan rats. So I haven't really ever cared that much about clan rats, and I still don't. Yeah. So I managed to kill 13 or 14 horrors with the spell.
Yeah, 13. But kind of iconic there for Skaven spells.
Mm-hmm.